Hello, this is Sheila with Stampin' Wishes and welcome to my studio. This is our Glitter Queen blog hop, which I look forward to every month. And this month's theme is beautiful Halloween treat holders. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to make something similar to this. This is one I made up and very easy to make, and it holds. I've got this piece for us to do one of these later, so let me go ahead and take that out. But anyway, this one will hold up to 12 treats. I think you could do 6 treats and put a little bit of packing in it, or you can do the 12 fits just fine. And so, okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to be using the Spooktacular Bash, the set that has both the dies and the stamps. And what I've done ahead, because I'm not real sure how it's going to come out, but hey, we're going to give it a try and see what happens, is I did a little bit ahead of time because I want us to stay focused on the making of the box. But I've got a piece of our black foil and some Granny Apple Green, and I stamped that Open If You Dare, and I thought we'd put this on the top of the box. And then our little Dracula guy that will add a little bit of color to his eyes maybe, or put some little jewels around. I haven't decided yet, but I thought he would be good standing up. And we may round off the corners and do different things like that. Okay, so what you'll need is a piece of 12 by 12, and I'm using our Very Vanilla. And the white and the Very Vanilla you can still get in the larger packs of paper. I think you get, how many sheets do you get in this one? Well, it's not telling me right here, but I think it's 12 sheets. I'm pretty sure it is. So let's set that aside and bring in our trimmer and go ahead and trim this at 6 inches. I don't even think we need to take it out that far, but we'll need to when we start scoring. So let's go ahead and bring this over to 6 inches. Make sure it's even at all sides, and we'll put this aside. Hopefully we won't have to use it, that we'll get everything right the first time. So let's go ahead and start our scoring, and to do that I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way, and we're going to score our first score on the 6-inch side, but this is your 6-inch side, at a 1/2 inch. So go ahead and score that down, and then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to score at 1.5 inches. And then we're going to score at 4.5 inches. And all the measurements will be on my blog and also on my screen. And then the last score on this one is 5.5 inches. So let's go ahead and bring it on over here. Okay, so then we're going to come over here to our 12-inch side, and we're going to score the first one at 4 inches. The next one at 7 inches. The next one at 8 inches. And the next one is going to be at 11 inches. Okay. So on this side, you will see when we fold, we've got our little cut areas that we're going to make our box with, but we don't have it on this side. So what you want to do is bring this in at 3 inches, and then you're going to come up just to the 1.5 inch score line there. Okay, and then you're going to flip it over and line it up at 9 inches, and that brings you right in line then with the other side here. And again, we're only going to go from 1.5 and down. Okay, so that gives us our little block areas that we need on both sides. Now, because there's a long length of trimming to be done here, I kind of like to use my trimmer to do that with. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just to keep me on balance here where I need to be cutting. I'm going to go ahead and cut out to that 1.5 inch score line on each of the edges here. Okay. Okay, now that we've got those off, what I'm going to do is line up again on this score line, and I'm going to bring it up to the, let's see, it measures right about from this end up, you'll come to the 10.5 inch since you're going from the 12 inch. And then I'm just going to slide this on down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side here and line it up and bring it from about the same area down and take this piece off. Okay, let's put those aside. And then on this boxed area down here, we also need to bring it from this portion here, because this is going to be our box piece in here. This is going to be the lid that flips over to it, and this is going to be the portion that stands up. So we want to take this off, and again, I'm at that 1.5 inch score line that we had done at one side of it, and so you should be able to line that right up and bring it over here at 1.5 inch. Okay, and then line it on up. Okay, just nip those off. Okay, so I don't think we'll need this any longer. So let's put that to the side. All right, so to prepare our box and what we want to do with it and everything, let's go ahead and miter our ends so that our box will come together nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and trim off a little bit of this. I'd left some of the score line. And I left a little bit here, but it's not that noticeable. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to trim it and not have it straight. I'm really funny about liking my stuff to be straight. That's why I use my trimmer whenever I get a chance. Okay, so after we miter these, then we're going to do some rounding of some of the corners. And then I thought we would sponge just a little bit to kind of give it an antique-ish look, kind of like we did. Let me bring this back out. Like the paper looked here, I like that look. And so I thought we would duplicate it on this box. Since we're not going to be using any DSP, we're kind of making our own design because I wanted to use some of the Spooktacular Bash characters in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring our corner rounder in. We're using our detailed dual. This is going to be the top area up there, so I'm going to go ahead and let's go, and I think what we'll do is when we get to decorating that black background, I'll go ahead and round the corners on it as well. I think it kind of gives it a nice finished look. Okay, and we want to do our edges here. Let's pop these over like so. All right, so I hope you'll give this box a try because it really is a lot of fun. All right, so now we have to remember that this is our score line that we did here, so we want to flip it over so that our score lines don't crack on us by bringing it to the right direction that we had. So I'm just giving them a fold right now, and we'll bring the bone folder in and just burnish them a little bit here. A nice crisp fold. Okay, I think we've got it all, and then these will go in there. So what's going to happen is this is going to sit up. These are going to tuck down over your little flaps here. So when we are shading, we have to remember this is going to be the front of the box here, not back here, but you could shade both areas too if you want to finish it off completely, and we might do that. And this will be your top. So what I'm going for is kind of shading the outside here, this area here, and maybe a little bit on the edges, in the front area here where that's going to be, okay? So let me go ahead. I have some scrap here that I'll bring over, and I'm going to bring in a little bit of our So Saffron with one of our brushes. And let me see which one I make sure that I don't have any color on it. Nope. Okay. And so we'll bring in the So Saffron first and bring it around all the edges, and then we're going to come back with our soft suede to again kind of give it that burnished aged look. Enough of the shading to give us our antique color. And so next we need to bring in our tear and tape. So let's bring this over. And here again, just to kind of remind you of how these are going to come in, this is going to come in and tuck up underneath here, okay? And you could use your liquid adhesive, which I will on the inside flaps of these, but I think for the sturdiness of the box, we'll just go ahead and use some of the tear and tape. All right, so when you put your tear and tape, you want it on the flaps being down, not open, because then you'll have them to the outside of your box and you don't want that to be. And I would go ahead and use 2 pieces so that your edges will stay nice and tucked there. Okay, let's bring some here. And one more flap, and then we'll put it together and decorate it. We'll have us a cute little Halloween treat box. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in this and peel these all off. Now you could at this point, before you start putting it together, if you are using DSP especially, and your DSP pieces should measure around, if you're going to use the whole, outside perimeter and not have it in different layers and stuff, your outside layer, if you do layers, would want to be 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. You could do 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 as well, just depending on what your final design is going to be. Okay, and that would be true on both of the top and I call it the top of the box and the front of the box, which we'll call this the front, or this the front, that's the top of the box. Okay. All right, so let's bring these in, and you want to try and get those as square. That last one I was talking and not paying attention, I think it got it off just a little bit, but that's all right. Okay, and bring this one in and square. Okay, so now this is where we want to bring in, let's push our box back here, the liquid glue, and I'm going to put the liquid glue in this edge and then bring in my bone folder and close that down and seal it by running your bone folder across the edges until it adheres. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to bring that liquid adhesive and try and get a little bit on your edge. I don't want to go too close to the edge because this does spread, and I don't want to get the inside of my box with adhesive. Okay. So again, you want to use your bone folder and just give you a nice little piece there. So now your box, this will tuck right in there. And there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get it decorated. So what I have in mind is that this will go here, and I'll round the corners on it as well, and then we'll layer him on top. So let's go ahead and I don't think we need this. Okay, I've got my light cherry cobbler that will do a little bit of coloring in his eye areas there. I kind of like to make them look like they're a little bit bloodshot. So let's go ahead and do that and get this. And since I could go into doing a coloring on his complexion and all that, but I think since we're using vanilla, it kind of gives him that little washed out look, which is a look that I'd be looking for. Now this is one of the little framelets that comes in that Spooktacular Bash here. I just love these ornate framelets. This is one of them, and this is another one. And I thought this one looked cute standing up with on that, which ones are they? The little Boo, oh, I don't have it out here, but they've got the little monsters and stuff, and the little zombie that is walking. You could frame him right in there. So I think would be real cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere this to it. And we could also like the way the green looks behind there, and especially with the black and everything that we're going to do. So let's go ahead and round our corners here. And again, if this was designer paper, it does measure the same, that 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, but I'm using it instead of designer paper for this particular design. Okay, and I think I do want to put it up on dimensionals. Let me see. Here's my dimensionals, and we're going to go ahead and take off a couple. I'd be using my black ones, but we had class this last Friday, and I haven't cleaned up my studio since classes, and so we won't be able to use the black, but I think the black would have been perfect for this here. And so this would adhere here. And see, it fits real nicely right into there. So why don't we go ahead and adhere this one on. Make sure we get it fitting correctly in here. There's not a lot of wiggle room, because if I had taken it to 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, it probably would have shown the antiquing off a little bit, but I kind of got stuck with that measurement of 2 7/8 in my head, and that's what I kept it to. All right, isn't that cute? Love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and round off these corners. A lot of people have said, because we don't carry our 12 by 12 in each of the singular colors, but keep in mind we do in the color family, so you'll get 2 of each color, I believe it is, in the color family, so don't discount that whenever you're getting yours, or want to make boxes that have the 12 measurement in it that's needed, the 6 by 12s and stuff, because you can get a lot of different colors and do a lot of fun things with them. So be sure and use that when you get a chance. Order you some of your colored families. And don't forget, in our Glitter Queen hop, to go back, if you're on mine, be sure and go back to my website, depending on where you're at. If you're on the website, you just click to the next person. It'll take you right to their blog. And if you're watching this from YouTube, if you will go to my blog, you'll see the lineup there and can go and enjoy everybody else's blog hop as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this lid up so I can make sure we get this in real well here. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is one, before we fill up this with candy, I wanted to show you how when I wrap candies, how I do it. We're going to go ahead and, let's use the other side. All right, I like to bring my, well, get it right here. Bring my Snell adhesive down all the way, and then I like to go against the flap here as I'm adding it on, because I don't want to take a chance of opening up the candy during this process. And then you just wrap it around, there you go. And those particular wraps measure 1 inch by 3 inches. So let's bring our other box here, and we'll just take from the candy there and fill it up in here. There we go. And like I said, you know, we could stop here at the 6 if we wanted to and leave 6 in each one, or you can fill them all the way up to 12. So it's whatever you would prefer to do for giving out your gifts. So here again is our spectacular Glitter Queen Blog Hop. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll give this box a try. And until next time, God bless and happy creating.